So now we're going to take of these three options. Let's focus on sentence number three. All right. So let's take sentence number three and kind of build off of that a little bit. So let's change it to when Guy gets thirsty, he drinks hot sauce until his dental fillings melt. And let's use this sentence to explain why sometimes an adverb clause gets commas and why sometimes it doesn't. So when I say when Guy gets thirsty, well, this is going to give us our very first punctuation rule. And what I want to do today is I want to focus on the real grammar rules and then also give you some basic hacks to kind of simplify it for you as well. So the basic rule is when an adverb clause starts the sentence, we call it an introductory adverbial clause, it always gets a comma. It doesn't matter how long or short it is, it gets the comma. All right, that's really important. No matter how long or short it is, if we begin a sentence with an adverbial clause, it always gets the comma. So in this case, when I say when Guy gets thirsty, adverbial clause, it automatically gets the comma. That's pretty easy. I know, it is money. I'm not sure what he's eating there, but that's just weird. All right. Now, what happens when the adverb clause is at the end of the sentence or is not at the beginning? Well, punctuation rule number 2 is a little more complicated. So basically what happens in English is we say, well, when the actual idea of the main clause, in this case, which is he drinks hot sauce, that's the main clause, that's the main sentence. Well, when that idea actually is being affected, being controlled, being somehow manipulated by something outside of it, in this case, the subordinate or the adverbial clause, well, that changes things. So the real rule is when the main clause is actually conditional upon or it's dependent upon the adverb clause, there's no comma. So let's think about this sentence. It says, when Guy gets thirsty, he drinks hot sauce until his dental fillings melt. Well, if you think about it, he's going to drink hot sauce until his dental fillings melt. So therefore, the verb drinks is only going to be true until his dental fillings melt. So what that means is that clause at the end of the sentence, until his dental fillings melt, is really important because it explains how long is he going to drink for. He's only going to drink until his dental fillings start melting. And once his dental fillings melt, then he's going to stop drinking. So therefore, the main verb actually needs that last part of the sentence. And if you need something, you don't break it up with any commas. So that's the reason why there's no commas in this one. But let me change the sentence to lead you into punctuation rule number 3. It said, when Guy gets thirsty, he drinks hot sauce, even though his dental fillings melt. Well, that's different. Now what happens is the main verb is drinks hot sauce, but the clause, even though his dental fillings melt, isn't really changing that verb. Like, even though his dental fillings are melting, he's going to keep drinking that hot sauce because he's nuts. And because of that, that clause really isn't doing anything to the verb. That verb's going to do whatever it wants to do. And that clause, you can do what you want to do, but you're not changing that verb at all. And therefore, the punctuation rule in grammar says, hey, that main clause is not conditional upon that subordinate clause. It's not dependent upon that subordinate clause at all. It doesn't care. And so therefore, if I don't need that subordinate clause, I'm going to put a comma in. And that's why we're going to slap a comma in that mama, like that. So those are the basic rules. If it starts the sentence, it takes a comma. If that adverb clause is changing the meaning of that verb, well, then you're not going to put a comma in. But if that adverb clause is not really affecting the verb, you put a comma in. And those are the 3 rules of punctuating an adverb clause. They are kind of sometimes a little confusing, so I'm going to finish this video by showing you a couple punctuation hacks. Here we go. And these, look at him, he's biting a pineapple. And what's unique is if you pay close attention, the pineapple looks just like his head. All right, so here's your first punctuation hack. This will get you through high school and college and everything else after this. Here's some simple punctuation hacks. Adverb clause, when it starts the sentence, always gets a comma. If you're taking notes, write that down. Adverb clause starts the sentence, always gets the comma. Punctuation hack number 2, if it ends the sentence, never a comma. Just say no comma. Ends the sentence, no comma. Third hack, here's the exception. If it actually starts with any form of the word though, and in the English language there are 4 of them. There's though, as though, even though, and although. Anytime you start with one of the 4 those, always use the comma. So therefore, if it's at the beginning of the sentence or the end of the sentence, if you use the form of though, it always gets the comma. And lastly, if it interrupts the sentence, it always gets a comma. So once again, beginning of the sentence always gets a comma. End of the sentence doesn't take a comma. The exceptions, if it's in the middle of the sentence or if it starts with any form of though. And if you use those 4 hacks, that'll get you through our quiz, that'll get you through college writing, that'll get you through everything just fine. We're going to finish off this video with another video about just simply some tips, some tricks and some tips that you might come across. All right, so let me stop this and restart a new one for you.